Hello and welcome to the Green Card. I am with my very good gal pal, Estefania Baha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to you about our Latinidad because I feel like, you know, we come from kind of similar backgrounds of like being in the UK, having a Latina background. Okay, so your background.
Okay.
Tell us.
Okay, so my mom is from Panama, and that's it. And my dad's American.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can say I'm a charlatan, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom's from Panama.
You're from Miami as well.
Yeah.
And then you come to London and you're here. It's so hard to find Latino culture here. I think what bothers me the most about the UK is not having other people understand the culture. Does that make sense?
Okay. First of all, you're Barbara Walters. Okay. Because I feel like I'm in the hot seat.
Does it feel like that?
And then second of all, you're literally like, so we're gonna jump right into it. So how does it feel being a Latino in a, you know, this in a new country? Like how? So I think that, well, obviously a lot of the people who speak Spanish here speak Spanish from Spain, or like they're from Spain. And I think being in a place like Miami, like I went to high school in Miami for 2 years. It was like every single person that you speak to, you greet them, you're like, hola. Like all the gringas spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
Like you speak enough Spanish to get you by.
Yeah.
It's just sort of the norm that everyone has like a bit of conversational Spanish.
Right.
Everywhere you go to is like you know, not everywhere, but a lot of places that you go to have like Latin names. Like it's just really a part of the culture. And if you're American living in Miami, God bless you and like Godspeed. Like, I wish you the best. You know what I mean? Like I literally wish you the best. Just because it's crazy. Like we had a lot of just the way that we were with our teachers, even like you're kissing your teachers hello, and like it's just the way that you greet each other, the way that you talk.
Okay, so you grew up here in the UK.
Yeah, so I grew up in the UK. I moved here when I was 7 years old, so like in the like 90s.
From Miami.
From New York.
Okay.
So I grew up here for
New York City.
The burbs, baby.
Ooh, the burbs.
Yeah, from Eastchester.
Okay.
Yeah, from the burbs, Scarsdale. Shout out.
Okay.
It's okay. Shout out to suburbia. We moved here from there, and then we moved to Miami after that.
Okay.
And then so then growing up in Miami, we lived there because I think it was like to be close enough to Panama, and then we ended up moving back here at some point. Yeah. And it was just mainly culture shock. Cause like I did go to an American school here and everyone's from like New Jersey and Connecticut. Okay. And everyone's like, oh, what, you're Bolivian? Like obviously like there were no Latinos in my high school either here in London. And that was really funny. But like, I wasn't bothered by it, but like that, like the way people make fun of your mom's accent, like you don't realize your mom has an accent until people make fun of your mom's accent.
Right.
That was always a big thing.
People were making fun of it. That's insane. Yeah. I hate when people make fun of an accent.
It was high school. You're like, that's normal. Like, you're like, yeah, people are making fun of my mom's accent. I was like, cause your mom is like, her name's Mary and she's like perfect. Perfect. And like, yeah, I mean, she's like Americana, like properly, like housewives, like pearls, like proper, like all their dads were, like maybe the parents met in college, like lacrosse, like Goldman Sachs, like Ivy League, like that was very much the vibe. So then they have like their perfect kids and all that stuff too, and then they're just like, oh, Estefania, they would just like make fun of the accents. It's like essentially like my mom would even say it too. She's like, your friends think I'm dumb. She's like, your friends have no respect, like they don't treat me with respect, like they're doing little bits in front of me thinking I don't understand what they're doing, and like, they think I'm dumb. So it's like little things like that, which I think micro
racist, like, or like microaggression, or like people, when like it's like you're being racist, like you're being racist doing that. Like also the fact that I hate when people think people are not as educated as them because they speak a different language or they have a different accent. Yeah, I find that so ignorant. That's a very.
You speak two languages. Yeah. Like this person already speaks two languages. That's a funny one, isn't it? Like it's a hard one to. Yeah. I mean, obviously at the time, didn't care, didn't understand. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, I could literally cry. But that sort of thing. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, that is kind of bitchy, or like that is kind of shady. But also I did not know what a microaggression was until like 3 years ago. Yeah. Like I had no idea what that actually meant. Yeah. But I do find there are fun little pockets of Latin community here in I think I messaged you once when I was like going to a house party.
Yes.
In North London, and I passed by this like Latin shop, and then immediately when someone can tell that you're Latin, you start speaking right away.
What gets me is people not like at home. People can like somewhat pronounce words like jalapeno.
Yeah,
they say it, but here the jalapeno.
The best is tortilla. It's insane.
Tortilla. Really, I've heard someone say clipper latte. Do you want to go to clipper latte?
That's crazy. But that's just not knowing how to read.
Yeah.
That's just being illiterate. That's totally different. That's
yeah.
That's so crazy. There's what is it? Americans are like Los Angeles. Yeah. Like Americans are everywhere in Los Angeles. Like you hear the way people describe things in California, and you're like, that's not a word. Like when they say like Montecito, like we're not all going like we're going to Monterrey. There are some places that need to be pronounced in Spanish, and the fact that it's pronounced in English is like a crime.
Yes. So there's a lot of places, and then sometimes people put like I always like will put an accent on things because I just feel like that's like you should pronounce a word how it's meant to be said.
Okay.
But I don't like when people put pressure on me to be like, why are you doing it like that? Like saying Latina. Like I just feel like I just feel like that's how the word's meant to be said.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
Oh, I'm so insecure about it. I'm like, my name is whatever you want it to be. Like I never correct people because they're just like Esteban. You can literally call me Esteban, and I'm like, if that's your journey, that's your truth. I guess I'm Esteban. Like I like cower over. I'm like, don't look at I really have my name is Estefania Baha. Imagine if I was like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. I'm Estefania Baha. People would be like, shut up.
Yeah,
you can say that. Like I get it. Like I'm giving off that energy.
But like no, I feel like they can't. Bad. I feel like they can't. Like just fucking learn how to say it. Like
I know the first thing people say to me is they're like, so do you have a nickname?
They do,
of course, because I'm just they're just like, do you have a nickname? And I was like, wow, if I said that to any other culture, but that's why I think when you learn someone's name now, I say it like 5 times in front of their face, like looking into their eyes until I can get it right.
Yeah. Also, I have to like read at the same time. Like it takes me like if someone's saying in some accents or something, if I don't know the language, then I'm like, what? But if I read it, then I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, and that's knowing what type of learner you are because I don't know if people know this, but you're actually a scholar. People don't know that. People don't know that you have 2 masters, do they? Is it 2 or 3?
It's 2 master's degrees. Yeah, people don't know I'm a scholar.
People don't know you're a scholar, but it's true. You got it through it sometimes. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how either.
You read some books. And
I read some books.
You were on a scholarship too, weren't you?
I was on a scholarship. Well, and for my Latin American Studies masters, I shout out La Cultura.
Okay.
For that one, I was almost fully funded. I think I paid like maybe $1,000 for the entirety of a 2-year program.
And this is UCLA, which is like the hardest school to get into.
Yeah.
You would never, who would know? Like, I don't think people realize how hard it is to get into a state-funded school. California is a really, really tough university system, which is why all those celebrities had to lie about their children being talented.
Yes.
To pay to get them into like
Oh my God.
Stuff.
Remember how much of a scandal that was? I remember being at school and being like, ooh.
Olivia Jade can't row.
Oh my God.
But my favorite part is she's like, I didn't know my mom was doing that. I'm like, so you didn't think it was weird that you were rowing and your mom was taking photos of you in a rowboat and you've never done rowing? Like, was there not something when your mom said put on a uniform and pretend to row in this boat?
Yeah.
You were never,
insane.
There were never any like red flags.
In high school, I was in La Raza Unida.
Okay, what is that?
It's like United Race, the club on campus.
Okay, it sounds derogatory.
Then they would change to Latinos Unidos.
That's cute.
And I was like so involved in the club. And I remember like, because so we used to get, at the flea market, they used to do those, the spray paint.
Of course.
T-shirts.
Yeah, like Jersey Shore vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was our uniform. And because I am my skin tone, like most of my life, I thought we were just Spanish descent because my grandma would always say, oh, we're Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, that explains why I have this color skin. We're like European, like, cause my grandpa's from the UK and then my grandma's from El Salvador, but by way of Spain. It was an insecurity of mine, but I'm like, oh, I'm Spanish. I must be Spanish.
Like the tanning booth.
Yeah. Me, I'm just like, no, I'm like, I don't even need, like, it's fine because I'm Spanish. Like, I would tell people like, oh yeah, we're Spanish. I'm British and Spanish.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't for, I think I did my like, I think it was like growing up and learning, but also like being like, hold on, do we have any family in Spain? And my grandma's like, no. And I'm like, well, is your mom Spanish? She's like, no. I'm like, your dad? No. Grandma? No. Who the fuck is from Spain?
Okay, here's a thing that was a very big trend in the 90s for Latinos to say that they're actually from Spain.
Very big trend, but it was a very big
whitening.
Trend. It's internalized racism.
Absolutely, because everyone that was Cuban that I like, a lot of the Cubans that I grew up with are like, no, but we're from Spain.
Yeah,
and you go like how far back though, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, your great grandparents are from Spain, like, or is it, you know, something above that? Because everyone's like, yeah, we're Cuban, but we're really from Spain. Because there was something about being Cuban back in the 90s that people found, obviously, shout out to Elian Gonzalez, I hope you're so well. There was like a thing about being Cuban back in the day, and especially, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's an internalized racism. It's an internalized racism,
sure. and it's also it's just them trying to assimilate into white culture. Yeah. And I think it goes down to, because I did research on this a bit in for my degree.
Okay.
I was in a Central American diaspora class, and first of all, there was a girl in class who had the same name as me, Katie Jocelyn Green, but she was Mexican and she was brown. And the professor used to call her Katy and me Katie. And I was like, I hated it. I hated it so much. And have I ever told you this story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to act.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Come on.
I thought I never told you.
I'm giving you this. I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. I know. Of course I know this story. I'm being a podcasting partner. I'm like,
oh my God. Wow.
That literally, yeah.
So then quit that.
Then what happened?
Have I ever told you that? Yeah, obviously.
Go on.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely just mute my mic. No.
It's just like clips of me, my reaction, like, no me digas. And then I get my own thing, press the no me digas button.
Oh yeah, I could do that. That could be good for us.
No me digas.
I'm going to get that for the next time you're on. No me digas. I'm going to figure out how to do it. No me digas. Anyways.
Go on a date with a DJ and get some good things out of that.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Hey, that DJ at my party was pretty good, hey?
Yeah, they both were really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I was like, I lost my voice screaming at them to like play more and more hits, but like,
yeah. Really also, I want to say shout out to you for Rebelde. Wow. I forgot about the fucking you know there's like that window of songs that came out when I was in high school, fucking bangers.
Remember Nelly Furtado featuring Calle 13, No Hay Igual?
Yes.
It was like, it broke me.
Oh my God. You know what Wisin y Yandel, the album that Abusadora is on.
Okay.
I remember singing that song like someone's hurt me. And I'm like fucking 16 years old, blasting it in I used to drive a Ford Explorer.
Hot. That's an SUV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, girly.
But it was like, it had a broken bumper because of me.
A little fender bender.
You know,
fender bender.
Oopsie. Yeah, it was very like,
oops, I said too much.
I also used to blast Noche de Sexo.
Of course.
All the time.
Yeah, we famously lost our voices at the concert singing Noche de Sexo.
Oh my God.
I think the venue like erupted when that song came on.
That was like, oh my God, that was insane.
People were like, all right, we can go now. Like after they played that song.
That song does wonders. I mean, it's just like, oh wow.
It's so funny because when it used to come on at parties at the time, I was like, this is a little bit too low. Like, it's pretty down tempo for like a house party. But then once you listen to it by yourself, I think there's something about driving around in your car when you're in high school that does not hit the same ever. It just hits. It's such a specific type of medication.
Yeah.
What I meant was meditation, not medication. It's so specific that you can't. it makes songs hit, and that's why you'll like never listen to another song the same way when you hear a new song.
Yeah, God, high school like
meta, like that is just what it was, like being alone in your car, being out of your parents' house. You don't really have anywhere to go, but you're listening to music and you're just going for a drive, and that's when all the like the reggaeton hit. And I'm sure that you had the Latin channels too, like all the
yes.
Like, you know,
which
like,
was mine?
Mine was like 97.3. Like
mine was like 96 maybe 0.3. That was
like all the Latino hits.
Yeah,
like yesterday, today, tomorrow, whatever, those ones.
Yeah, and it was like so Spanglish as well. I'm like, oh,
so
like like people I think don't. This is another problem that I have over here. Like Spanglish, I'm fluent. I'm fluent in Spanglish. Spanish, sometimes depending on my mood. Sometimes I'm good. Sometimes I'm really bad.
3 glasses of tequila, literally native tongue.
Oh my God. I'm like, people are like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you, on your quince, you didn't speak English. On your quince, no one understood a word that was coming out of your mouth. It was gorgeous. It was amazing. You speaking with your friends from work in full Spanish, like, and them understanding you, like, that's love, baby. Like, honestly, that's love. I felt like I was watching Gotta Kick It Up. Do you remember, like, you were America Ferrera, Gotta Kick It Up. You were like, si se puede. Like, Katie, is the bar still open? Si se puede. Like, there was so much joy. I don't think it's nice that people got to see that side of you.
Yeah, I think you know what the thing is the environment. I feel like I don't have that environment a lot of that place. Yeah. That's why I'm always talking to you. I'm like, we gotta create this environment. We need to create this safe space for us. Like when I listen to songs out here, or when I go to the clubs here, I'm like, oh, I can't do techno. I can't do anything like that. But like reggaeton, I don't need any alcohol. I don't need what I will be dancing.
Yeah, that's like the high. I remember I invited you to like a really good DJ night, and you're like, babe, I don't listen to that type of music. I could only dance to reggaeton. I was like, no, it'll be really cool. You're like, I'm not
I don't
doing.
know.
You're like, I'm not doing that.
I get so tired.
It's like, fine, don't come. You're like, I'm looking at this DJ lineup and it looks like very serious. Like I'm like,
I don't know who they are.
You're like, nor do I care. I'm like,
yeah,
that's so
I'm like,
fair.
someone could have an iPod Nano and be playing the fucking hits. I'd be like, that's it. They're the best DJ.
I know what you mean. There's really good nights now that are like mixed Latin nights and stuff like that.
Also, there's certain songs where I feel like if I'm in a coma and they play Gasolina, I feel like I'll wake up.
Of course, but also, so would most people. So, I'm just because there is something about Gasolina like within the culture
about that, what that song does to us, that it's like you can't, like every time I hear that song, I'm like, oh, please, everyone, if you're not gonna dance with this, then you have to go.
Yeah, don't speak to me until the song is finished.
To me until the song is over.
It's so, there's something about Gasolina that it doesn't matter where you are, who you're with. Yeah. There will be like dancing. There is something there. Yeah. And that's what, Daddy Yankee really killed it with that one.
Daddy Yankee
really killed it with that one.
Really? Have you ever seen him live?
No. Imagine going to that concert. You'd implode.
Yeah.
Like you would literally implode. Whereas I think here when we went to ours, everyone was imploding, but everyone was like, on their A game because they maybe had a partner with them who probably didn't have like the same like you know that girl behind us with the amazing boobs who was like with some guy like who I don't know, like I was like, you didn't want to bring one of your girlies, but I understand needing to go to a concert that badly that you're like, I'd rather bring someone who doesn't dance and go by myself,
because it makes it really difficult like when you're like with somebody who doesn't understand a certain aspect of you. Yeah. Like I remember that the last guy I was seeing, like he just didn't, like he like couldn't get on, he like pronounced things wrong and like just wouldn't try. Yeah, I think. And that shit would really bother me. Really. Cause I'm like, just put a little effort. There's a little bit. Like this is a big part of my life. Yeah. It's like your personality. You're like, I'm going to be 15 minutes late wherever I go. Everywhere. It's in my blood. I can't not be.
It's like literally in the blood. I remember I was like talking to my dad about like stoicism or something. And I was like, yeah, you know, like Marcus Aurelius, like I'm really going to look into the stoicism stuff. And I just feel like, you know, it could really ground me. And my dad was like, do you think J-Lo is into stoicism? And I was like, you're right. He's like, you think she's like, you know, I just... we were with with my doctor, my family doctor, my GP here, who's English, Dr. Stuart Wolfman. He's retired
shout
now.
out.
But he was like my family doctor, and he was like, how's your mom doing? Like, how's her health? And I was like, she's like really accelerated, like acelerada, whatever. I was like, she's like stressed about this. And I think she's not doing well because, she's always very heated up and stressed. He goes, Latin genes, isn't it? That's all he said. He's like, oh, she's Latina. That's what it is. And I was like, huh. I was like, maybe. I was like, probably.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't have the thing that she has where I feel like I need to like yell all the time.
Oh,
I feel like those are sort of things that have been like learned out of me, what I mean? Like, in high school and stuff, there would be girls that would get in fights with their boyfriend and like scream in the halls, and like the teachers would let them do their thing, and like you hear stories being like, oh yeah, so and so like threw a high heel at like so and so's head.
Oh yeah.
And like there were girls that would properly get in like the biggest like, what the fuck are you doing, like what like they would be crying like in Spanish and this and that, and like I don't miro con ella, mira, ella está llorando allá, yo no puedo hablar, and just like so much stress and stuff, like, and I just don't think that I picked any of that up. I think maybe I did a little bit, but I never like went, I never went through that. So I'm not going to be, screaming or something, even though as much as I want to, like,
right.
I don't have any of that stuff. I guess cause I've been here so long.
Being here will really censor you. I feel like and it also suppresses. Yeah. There's some moments where I'm like, oh no, hold on. I've got to react like this because this is who I am. Yeah. Because other people make it like, oh, you can't do that. Yeah. Oh, you can't do that. That's too extra.
Yeah, that's another one, being told you're extra, isn't it? But again, I don't know how much is linked in it to me being just like a girl, like a girl with a big mouth versus like someone being like I remember like if I like sometimes I'll say something, I'll be like, well, like da 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 da, and my boyfriend will be like, because you just know that. Like that's what they're seeing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're seeing it through that like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Where, people like mimic you in a way and you're just like, oh yeah, that kind of was like the way my mom like freaks out at something. Yeah. Or you're like, oh, I sort of can see it, But about dating people who probably don't know a lot about your culture. Like I remember my friend, she's from China. She was telling me like she wants to date someone who's open and interested in learning about her culture and where she's from, because it's obviously such a big part of her. And like now she has this awesome boyfriend who's like really into being like, let's go to like an authentic place that does this. I want to try like this type of food, or I want to go like visit your country and like learn about this. So it's really interesting to hear that. But I think because Latinos are like not exotic, it's a different thing. People are just like, shut up and go eat your tacos. Yeah. Whatever.
I feel like it's exotic to some people, and it's like I feel like they have a capacity of which they're able to like comprehend. Or they're like, nah, I don't want to learn about that or speak that, or, Yeah.
I think, I was really happy that I was able to take my boyfriend to Miami so that he was able to see like Miami is Latin. Yeah. And like, it's this hot mess where it's like every Latin country living together in one country, which is called Miami. That's the country. Yeah. And it's a hot mess and a hotbed, and it's just the most aggressive. Like you go into a CVS or whatever, like a Walgreens, and first of all, no one's there. Second of all, no one wants to help you. And if you finally ask someone who needs something, they're like, okay, like no one speaks English. Like truly no one speaks English. Like you need to speak in Spanish, and like that's just the way it is. And I'm so happy he was able to witness that and understand that, because like as much as someone's just like, being Latino like isn't your identity, like shut up, whatever. Yeah. Especially because like in like stand up or work or whatever, you talk about it a little bit because you're just like, okay, it's just something about me. Yeah. You're like, yeah, bitch, I'm not playing it up. This is how it is. Yeah. Even if you're from a place like Panama where that apparently doesn't exist, because only Colombia exists. Yeah. Costa Rica. Yeah.
Nobody knows El Salvador.
Yeah. No one knows El Salvador.
Nobody knows El Salvador unless they have Bitcoin.
Niche. Yeah, it is a niche one, isn't it? El
Salvador. So niche, yeah.
Because there's other places that like sort of get more, they get more PR. Like Costa Rica, Pura Vida, you couldn't make that shit. Like, congratulations on whatever marketing company came up with Pura Vida. Yeah. That's a whole lifestyle.
How long's the flight from Panama to Miami?
Maybe like 4 hours.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not as short as you think it would be. But yeah, there's that show Married at First Sight or whatever.
Yeah.
There's apparently a girl from Panama on it who I've been like looking at. a little bit. Yeah. Who's married, who's like hooking up with the creepiest guy. But yeah, I'm not in that culture. Yeah. Like love after lockup or whatever. And like for 30 Day Fiance and all those 80, whatever, first 90 days, whatever. I don't know about it. Like I've not stepped into that culture yet, but I saw there is a hot little mommy from Panama. Yeah. So part of me wonders how she's gonna get on with this like nerdy white guy. I don't think I'll invest in that because I just don't have time. I've got a lot on my desk, but
it's a lot to handle.
But yeah, but I think I'm happy that there's a girl representing Panama, no matter how, even if it's on 90 Day Fiance.
Good. Yeah, the representation is real.
Because you were giving me the statistic that like Latinos are the fastest growing
population in London.
Yeah, we don't quit. We don't stop working.
Like speaking to the other Latinos at work, it's just like I feel like I have such a different relationship with them than I do with the rest of the English people who work there. But I have a really big identity thing because I feel like I'm only really taken in certain settings. Do you know what I mean?
So
as like being Latina enough. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So and sometimes I think it depends on certain things, like certain areas or whatever. I don't know how to explain it.
So like I'm wearing little hoops right now, for example. Yeah. People are gonna be like, you're not Latina.
Yeah, people will say that. Do people question your Latinidad a lot?
Every day, like literally. But it's more just like, you know, the people that I'm really close to, because they're like, you're white. You know, that's at the end of the day, they're like, you're white, like you're not Latino. They're like, Latino isn't like an ethnicity or like a whatever, you know, it's just the way it is. But when you speak to people from the Caribbean, like if you speak to friends from like who have family from Trinidad, or something like that, like they are more understanding of what Panama actually is and like the history of Panama and where Panamanians actually come from. And you're a little bit more like understood. Whereas like, I guess like on a day-to-day basis, it's like, yeah, bitch, you're white and your name's too long. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't like you know, whatever. I'm not, I don't mind it, but I do understand what you mean in terms of like looking for like community here who understands you. There's this like embedded thing. Like if I go to, I went to a Spanish restaurant with my mom the other day and she just loved being able to speak in Spanish because the whole staff, like the entire team was Spanish. By the way, our waitress did not speak Spanish and my mom kept speaking Spanish at her. And she's like, she does speak Spanish. Look, she speaks Spanish. And I'm like, no, that's just because the menu's in Spanish. So she knows what you want, but she doesn't actually speak Spanish. It was so annoying because like she just doesn't filter through.
Yeah.
My mom sees someone with brown hair and just starts speaking in Spanish with them. But that's also, I think, a very Latino thing to just have like goggles on where you're like, it's literally my world and you all are just in it.
Yeah. Okay. So I made this mistake the other day. I went out to a guy and he is Latino, like he's Mexican.
Yeah.
And I just started speaking to him in Spanish. And he was like, yeah, and like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You didn't speak Spanish?
Yeah, I didn't know you didn't speak Spanish. Because I thought he did. But then I'm like, oh my God, I'm projecting the same shit that people do to me. Like this whole like identity thing of like, you have to speak Spanish if you're Latino or whatever. But I'm like, oh my God, I was forgetting the massive demographic of first or second generation Latinos who don't speak Spanish.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I like made him feel uncomfortable.
Oh shit.
Because I started speaking in Spanish and he was like, but then also I feel like I struggle because sometimes people will assume that I'm Latina, but like a lot of people will like, sometimes they won't because of the way I look.
Well, I think it's because literally it was because of your name.
Yes.
Literally, right? Unless you rebrand to Cati Verde.
Yeah.
Your alter ego.
Yeah. I know.
Cati Verde. Yeah. That was your quince, Cati. Cati Verde was like, she was like out and about.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go by my grandma's maiden name, which is Garcia.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, and it kind of like is, if you did a rebrand and changed your name, it would probably be Garcia.
Yeah.
Instead of Verde. That makes more sense. A lot of my friends only speak in like broken Spanish. Like you speak enough to speak with your grandma.
Yes.
Like you speak enough that you can like order food and just like hang out with people at a party. You speak enough that you can speak with your family, but at home they'll still speak in English with their parents. I noticed.
Yes.
That's a really big one.
That's a really big, I feel like that's kind of the category that I place myself in.
Yeah.
Like
too.
I find it enough. Do you speak to Spanish with your mom?
Not really. Only, I mean, mostly I'm talking shit. So like that is where it needs to be done. So I do speak, like if we're on the phone and I will speak in Spanish with her, but in person we speak together in English. We'll have our phases where I'm like, I need to speak in Spanish because I literally could not say the word like biblioteca or something. So I'm like, we need to speak in Spanish together, but mostly it's English. And then on the phone, I will try my best to keep it in Spanish.
I think I feel like everyone comes to terms with their culture at different times, you know? Yeah. I think it's really hard because I also feel like it's like when you're growing up in like areas and then you have this like culture from home but that other people don't understand. If you're hanging out with different friends and they don't understand, it's a complex, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes there's like oh, you don't want to be different than other people.
Yeah.
And then there becomes a shift in the pride. For me, like I was always really like assimilated with like my grandpa's like being British, and I was always wanted to be British, and then but I was always like I'm like always eating like my grandma's food, and like every day after school like I had tortilla and queso like every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and like you have the food and then you have the speaking the language, and then it's like the novelas and like everything. It's like, oh, like it's time. It's like it's really important to celebrate this culture, you know?
I think growing up in the States, you have the same cultural references as me in terms of like Nickelodeon and Disney culture, where they always had like the Brothers Garcia. Like they always had like, they made one Latin movie every 3 years on the Disney Channel original movies.
And so it like did feel like you had that representation, but also like I was really into Rebelde.
Yeah.
Rebelde. I was so obsessed.
Style icons, by the way.
Oh
like,
my God.
Looking back on their clothes now and their pieces now.
Reunion.
Insane. Yeah.
I'm like insane. I was so obsessed. I had posters of them in my room, and I used to go to the flea market and get the little sticker books. Yes, and I'd get like everything was like Rebelde, and like when they came out with the Spanglish album, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Tu amor, I'm not sure. Oh my God, I'm like, oh my God, this is me. This is like. Oh, I felt so represented. I was like, oh my God. Oh,
I had friends of mine who were Mexican who loved Rebelde, and they would go to Mexico whenever there was a concert because they had to go do it, and they'd like wear the outfits and everything. Like
I would have done anything.
That's so funny. I wasn't into it, but I knew what it was, and I loved that girl. That like Anaïs,
yeah,
iconic. Like there were some like really cool girls.
Yeah, Anaïs was so cool. Maite, so I looked. Oh, Dulce Maria, I was obsessed with.
So cool.
I was so obsessed with.
Yeah, Rebelde was a moment in time. There was always like something on TV.
Yes.
There was always like we had like Taina. Do you remember like, no, I can't wait to see my name in the lights?
Yes.
Do you remember Taina? She was like, she played, in Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan, she played one of the band members, if that helps. She was a Puerto Rican. Taina was a sitcom on Nickelodeon about a Puerto Rican girl just trying to be a star. Like, it was amazing. Like, there were a lot of good. There were like good shows. There was lots of, and they would be like, mija. Like, there was a lot of Spanglish being spoken. I can't think of any other Spanglish shows, but things like that were always in the mix.
They'd always have some type of, like
Selena Gomez probably.
Yes, I'm rewatching That's So Raven, and God, I'm rewatching it.
You're like the way people would rewatch The Sopranos during lockdown. Like, I'm rewatching The Wire. You're like, so I'm rewatching That's So Raven.
I'm rewatching the television icon that is Raven Simone.
She's so cool.
Oh, so cool. But what's the girl's name that was in Cuter Girls as well? Oh, the Latina, like what's her name?
The girl Adriana Bailon.
Yes.
Or the one that used to be dating Rob Kardashian.
Yes.
Yeah, Adrienne Bailon.
Yeah.
She was the one that was in 3LW.
Oh.
So Adrienne Bailon was in 3LW, and she had a cameo on Taina. The three girls from 3LW were on Taina as a band called Blue Mascara. Yeah, I know that's really important to know. So Adrienne Bailon's been in it for a minute. In it. She was on like the Talk or The View, or like one of those shows too. So I know that like not that the Talk is the one where like nothing steamy happens. They just like
The View, ooh, steamy.
The View very steamy, but the Talk is like nothing happens here.
Because in That's So Raven, she speaks Spanish, and I'm like, good for you, babe.
Good for you.
And I'm like, I don't remember it having so much significance when I was watching it back in the day. But I do remember I did like Teresa, Barbie. Like, I loved Teresa dolls. I had lots of Barbie, but I had like, I'm like, oh, yay. And do you remember American Girl dolls?
Yeah, didn't have those back then. My parents weren't in that tax bracket yet, but I do remember American Girl.
I like was obsessed, and then I was like, Grandma, I need Josefina. I need her.
Yeah.
And I got her, and I was obsessed with her because she had hoops inside, like her like hoops. The hoops were attached to her body.
She was like a campesina.
Yeah, like she was like New Mexico. She had the fucking like, it was like not sexy mamacita Josefina. It was like,
and she also was like 9.
Yeah. But the other girls had cute outfits. The other girls had like sunglasses and
those little Bella Hadid sunglasses.
Yeah.
I like the Barbies and all that.
You stuff. Like Barbies?
Yeah, I had Barbie, Teresa, Kelly.
Did you watch Barbie?
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with America Ferrera. I'm obsessed.
I do love her. She seemed very stressed throughout that movie though, didn't she?
She did.
She was very stressed out.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about where her career's going. She's been. Did you know she did that show where she played she did a sitcom that she was like an exec producer on, where she plays. It was called like Superstore.
Yes.
Where she plays like a Walmart-esque employee.
Yes,
and
it was like so
cool.
good.
Yeah,
it was so good.
It was a few seasons too. It was.
Yeah,
cool.
I love that show.
It was good.
But I also just love seeing her in main roles. I love seeing her as a main character. Yeah, I love it.
People forget that, and the fact that her name is America is so crazy.
Yeah,
like it carries so much. But she's been in the mix since we were little too. She was in Gotta Kick It Up.
Yeah.
And Betty La Fea after that.
Ugly
Betty.
That was a big show. That was so popular, remember?
Yeah, I've never seen Betty La Fea, but
no.
I remember my family, so my aunt lived with us. All the girlies would gather and watch like Betty La Fea, like the real one. And I remember the theme song would be like, Yo soy así. Like the actual Betty La Fea novela was amazing, and they were obsessed with it.
Oh wow! Were you into novelas? No,
I was not into novelas.
No.
But now my favorite memes are mostly women that like novela women.
Yeah.
Like I love like crying in Spanish, like eat shrimp in Spanish, like those sort of things. I really resonate with. I feel like that is probably why I like Kim Cattrall so much in Sex and the City, because she was a novela character.
Yeah,
she was literally a novela character. That's probably why. But yeah, did you like novelas? Like, what'd you?
Well, Rebelde.
Okay,
I did. Yeah. But like, so that was like a kid's novela. Sometimes I'd watch some with my grandma, but it's like you miss one episode and you're fucking out for the season. But and like she obviously takes it so seriously. Like every day, 9:00, don't speak to me.
That's how it was with Betty La Fea.
Yeah,
everyone was addicted to that at a time.
Yeah,
I remember that shit. And then I don't really know what's like. Whenever I go to Panama, I'm like, what is on the TV? Like I never really. I would just watch cartoons that have been dubbed, and they were so stressful. I'd be like, why are their voices so high pitched?
I used to buy the Rebelde DVDs.
Oh girl, yeah.
I used to buy the DVDs.
But aren't they more like a High School Musical type thing? Are they not like? Have you seen Elite on Netflix?
Yeah,
it's too much to take in. It's really dramatic.
It's so dramatic.
It's really dramatic.
It's so dramatic.
I also think their wardrobe department like just is so unreal. Like these are meant to be like these rich kids. I'm like, why are you wearing Tommy Hilfiger sneakers? Like, what is this? A cast where we watch Elite?
Oh, we should do that. That would be great.
And we can cover every episode.
Yeah, we should do that. And that'd be so good. I love that.
That could be cool.
And then we could also do one where we watch all fucking 150,000 episodes of Rebelde.
I would do that. Nostalgia's in. Like, I went to see the Backstreet Boys not too long ago.
Yeah?
They were moving on stage. They were moving.
I'd love to see NSYNC.
They were moving. That would be good too. But now I'm so annoyed by Justin Timberlake that I just can't. Why does he rub me the wrong way?
I feel you on that one.
Why? I don't know why. I wish he didn't. But like he just
I never loved his solo career. I know that's not popular opinion, but I just didn't like him that much. Like, all right, I'm gonna ask you a question, and then is that okay?
Absolutely, please.
Do you know the 36 questions that lead to love?
No.
So they're like 36 questions, and like you're meant to ask them with a partner, and you're my partner today.
Okay, gorgeous.
And they're like meant to be like more vulnerable, like more like, you know, getting to know someone deeper. And I'm gonna ask you. Oh
my god, cute.
Oh, this is a cute one. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
Oh my god, that's so real.
Is that too real?
Wait, what is the greatest accomplishment of my life? Having a good relationship with my parents.
Ooh.
I know it's a two-way street with that, but like I think maybe the greatest accomplishment of my life.
That's good.
Yeah, I think having a good relationship with my whole family. I like my whole like nuclear family. Is that really lame?
No,
Should I say something funny?
No, I love that.
Should I say something funny? I don't know. That's really.
No, I love that. That's really nice. That's really good.
Like genuinely like choosing to be close with my family and enjoying it. Is that crazy? Yeah. No. That's real.
I love that.
Is that too real? What if someone told you that on a date? You'd be like,
no, I'd be like, oh my God, let's go on another date.
What do people say for like your question? What are like,
they're usually pretty honest, hopefully.
Do you do one?
You want to ask me one?
Just for fun, at least.
Okay.
There's this one Japanese version where people say like, if you were an animal, what would it be? If you could be like somewhere in the world, where would it be, or whatever? And it's meant to show that you're like vulnerable, or you wish you were this, or if you said this animal, you see yourself as this animal. If you said this for this, then you wish you were this. And he like thought he connected with me, and I was like, you're so gross. And then he tried to hook up with me, and he had the worst breath ever. And I was like, I was like, I'm not gonna make out with you in public. And he was like, I think you should get an Uber now. How crazy is that? So these things always I find really interesting. Okay. 1, what would constitute a perfect day for you?
Perfect day. That's a hard one. Maybe like only positive text messages, but like also not looking on my phone.
Yeah.
Actually not. I think no phone.
Yeah.
And like all my admin just being done for me.
Yeah.
I like watching cartoons. So I think like waking up and watching cartoons is a great day for me with some cereal. Yeah. I love Lucky Charms. That's a good day for me. And then I like getting things on a discount. So a perfect day would be like, okay, so I wake up, cartoons, and then the cereal, and then I go out, have lunch, and I get it for free.
Right.
Oh my God. That'd be great.
So that's a big part of that, I feel like, is couponing.
Love couponing.
Yeah.
What's your perfect day?
A perfect day would probably begin with like yoga, like making sweet love to a loved one.
Ooh.
Something like that. Like cooking food.
I'm like cartoons and you're like sex. And I'm like
with someone you love.
Yeah.
Work maybe like making a nice breakfast, going to the beach.
Ooh.
I think like maybe like having a nice breakfast and like chilling on the beach. I think a beach day always seems like a perfect day to me.
Yeah.
A beach day, and then just like chilling at night and hanging out with friends and like drinking wine and having a really nice dinner with like a lot of people you really like.
I like that.
I feel like whenever I think of something like positive or cool that I want, it means like vacation on an island somewhere.
Yeah. I always think of Brazil.
Yeah. Something.
Almost like give me back with Brazil.
Yeah. That's what I think it is. And I think that's our Latina talking. That's our Latina coming out, where you just want to be in a hot climate.
Yeah.
I think something like that. Sweating, hot, drinking, eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of thing. That's like a perfect day, I think.
Perfect day. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where can people find you? Or do you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
I'm not sure when this will be out, but something on September 18th. Fuck it up. And then you can follow me at Estefania Baha on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff.
Great. Also, the Fuck It Up show will be really good. It's Kima Bob's show. It's
Dance with her at your
Femmes
party.
of Color. Yeah. I love Kima. Absolutely love her. Amazing. You'll have so much fun. And it's at the Soho Theater. You're going to love it. And I want that to be, I want you guys to go. I want you all to go. Okay.
Love you.
Love you lots.
Te quiero.
Okay. Te quiero mucho.
Te quiero.
Besitos.
Besitos.
Bye.